It was never my life's ambition to be a cocaine dealer. My goal in life, from the time I was old enough to hold a baseball bat, was to play in the major leagues, make a boatload of money, and be inducted into the Hall of Fame. When I was in high school, I would practice my induction speech by standing in front of the bathroom mirror, holding a hairbrush for a microphone. I became a cocaine dealer by accident. Unfortunately, I was every bit as adept at dealing cocaine as I was at hitting a baseball, and I was the greatest baseball player to ever come out of Steubenville, Ohio. That's a fact. The biggest difference between the two is this. To the best of my knowledge, no one has ever been sent to a federal penitentiary for booting a ground ball. I've really screwed up my life. That's also a fact. I had it all. I mean, so far as Steubenville was concerned. I was the king. I was the best-looking kid in our school. I'm not bragging, just telling you the way it was. I'm bald now, which I hate even more than the idiotic tattoos I allowed a white supremacist to ink into my biceps with a sewing needle while I was in prison. But in high school, I had thick, dark hair that I parted in the middle and feathered back over my ears. My eyes are pale blue. I have a little cleft in my chin, and I had the most perfect set of teeth you ever saw. They're still nice, except now I have a partial plate that fills the gap where that black son of a bitch, Andre Edwards, a psychopath who should have been in permanent lockdown, smacked me with a piece of pipe and knocked an incisor and an eye tooth down my throat. There were probably some girls in my class who would say that Jimmy Hinton was better looking than me. His family owned a big dairy and cattle farm out on County Road 724, near New Noblesville, and they had, as my dad liked to say, more money than God. Jimmy always dressed up for school, never wore blue jeans or sneakers like the rest of us, and he drove a very cherry midnight blue 55 Ford with blue lights under the wheel wells. He wore nicer clothes than me, and he had a much sweeter ride, but no way was he better looking. He was a pretty boy, curly blonde hair, a baby face, and sleepy eyes. Hell, I always figured he wasn't interested in girls. After all, he played the clarinet in a marching band, for Christ's sake. I also dated the most beautiful girl in the school, Dina Marie Konchik. That's another fact. If you want proof, look at my senior yearbook. She was the head cheerleader. She was the homecoming queen, and she had the most incredible ass in Jefferson County. I was tapping that action every Friday and Saturday night, and getting head on Sunday afternoons when her parents were visiting her grandmother at the nursing home. Since we weren't married, Dina Marie thought it was sinful to have intercourse on Sundays, but apparently didn't think God had a problem with oral sex. It was typical Dina Marie. She was as crazy as she was beautiful, but putting up with her lunacy was a minor sacrifice in exchange for such great sex, especially when you're 18 years old and sporting a perpetual boner. If I had spent any time at all studying, I would have been valedictorian too. Maybe. Lanny Chester was pretty damn smart, but I would have given him a run for his money. I was smart. Well, book smart anyway. Most people would tell you that I never had a lick of common sense. And given my recent track record as a guest of the federal penitentiary at Terre Haute, Indiana, it's hard to put up a strong argument to the contrary. But I was pretty close to straight A's, and I never cracked a book. I finished in the top 10 in the class. 8th, I think. Grades were never a big concern because I was the best athlete in the storied history of Steubenville High School. Again, I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you the facts. You can find people who will tell you that little limp dick Jimmy Hinton was better looking than me and that Lanny Chester was smarter, but no one will argue that I wasn't the best athlete to ever wear the crimson and black of the Steubenville Big Red. I was first team All-Ohio 6 times. 6 times! 3 times in baseball, twice in football, and once in basketball. Now, I'll be the first to admit that being All-State in basketball was probably a gift. Name recognition from my baseball and football accomplishments. But that doesn't matter. It still counts. First team, All-Ohio, 6 times. You can check it out if you like. Photos of the All-Staters hang in the front hall of the school. I'm the only one up there more than twice.